Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6 of Unmatched. Myself, Lucas Scott, in the black shirt. We got Massimo Barufa in the Roma jersey. I know he's happy today. And then we got Paul Vlahopoulos, who's been happy the last couple of years because, he's a Man City fan and they're doing well, like usual. But first order of business, we got to talk about NFL free agency. So many moves are happening, so many moves going on. Saquon Barkley to the Philadelphia Eagles, Derrick Henry to the Baltimore Ravens, Patrick Queen on a lesser note, I guess to some people. He's not as big of a name as those guys, obviously, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen with Justin Fields. I thought he was a lock to the Atlanta Falcons.
Same.
But guess who went? The man who finds every single way humanly possible to get his bag, Kirk Cousins.
Collect the bag.
Signed with the Atlanta Falcons.
Respect.
Calvin Ridley to the Tennessee Titans. So basically,
And Tennessee got Tony Pollard too.
And Tony Pollard. That was huge. Who are your guys' I guess winner and losers? Let's do two each. Winners and losers of NFL free agency.
Well, that's tough.
Loser's got to be someone who just hasn't signed anyone, unless it's like a big deal.
Can I say winners? Does it have to be a team? Like, can I just say winners is running back? Because this is just the years of running backs in terms of free agency and getting paid.
That's fair.
Yeah.
They got their bag. For me personally, I would say the Eagles are definitely a winner.
Yeah.
Just adding Saquon to that.
Do you think he's going to be that much of a difference compared to what Swift did last year? Because Swift was unreal. No, but it's just like everyone knows Barkley's injury history and how he can't stay healthy. And then Swift put up a very good year last year, and he stayed majority healthy behind that line. And it's the Eagles' number one priority should have been their secondary rather than signing a running back. I don't know. To me, it was just they went for the bigger name over the team's specific need.
First of all, talent-wise and as a physical, talent-wise, pound for pound, Saquon's the best running back in the league, in my opinion.
Over Christian McCaffrey?
Pound for pound, yes. Yes. Saquon, first of all, McCaffrey's been super blessed since he's went to the 49ers. And you notice, Barry, that the man goes to a good team with a good O-line and the injuries kind of decline, right? Meaning that he doesn't have to run behind a terrible offensive line, run for his life, get put in bad positions. Yes, he still gets a lot of touches, but the touches that he's getting, they just look more clean and less dangerous than when he was with the Panthers, if that makes any semblance of sense. Saquon Barkley, I mean, this is by far and away the best offensive line, the best team he's ever played on. A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, that offensive line, yes, you use Jason Kelce, you lose Jason Kelce, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, but that offensive line is still better than any Saquon's ever played with.
Yeah.
Yes, he has an injury history, and yes, DeAndre Swift did well last season, but you're not just getting a little mini upgrade at running back. You're getting a pretty significant one, right? So it alleviates, I would say, more of the pressure, because if you remember, there were times in the season last season where we were like, why isn't DeAndre Swift getting the ball?
Yeah.
Right? I don't think you're going to have that problem with Saquon Barkley.
I guess their situation now is going to be who's going to get the ball in crucial situations. You're going to give it to A.J. Brown. You're going to give it to Saquon. Now it's when you get to those 4th and 1s, and obviously Kelsey's not there anymore for the tush push, but they're going to find a way to get that to work again.
You can still tush push without Kelsey.
But no. Yeah, but he was a big part of that.
Of course, yes.
But I'm saying now, do you think you would still use the tush push as much, or are you going to use Saquon in those situations because he can get you so many yards?
Well, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, but it's not a bad problem to have.
Yeah.
right? My other winner, it's split between Baltimore Ravens, just because adding Derrick Henry
behind that O-line,
such a massive
running game's
upgrade.
insane.
He finished second in the league last year in rushing with the worst O-line in the league.
Yeah, and you're adding one of the best running backs of the generation, and the Ravens' best running back since Ray Rice, like almost like over 10 years ago, right? Like Derrick Henry is still a machine, still a monster, and he will also not be as heavily relied upon like a Saquon was in New York, because he's on a team where they don't have, the greatest wide receivers in the world. No disrespect to Zay Jones and all those guys, but you have such a dynamic player in Lamar Jackson that Derrick Henry's not going to need to touch the ball or rush the ball 30 times a game, right? To still be effective. He can get 100 on 15 with that team. You know what I mean?
They still need to add a wide receiver, because they just cut Odell this afternoon.
But there's a lot of good ones in the draft, so that's a good sign. And then my other winner is Pittsburgh Steelers.
For the one signing,
Patrick Queen.
Don't add Russ in there like you wanted.
Russ is, what do you mean don't add Russ? This is the best quarterback we've had in 7 years. Russ is gonna cook.
Will stay the same when the season starts.
Russ still got it. Come on, now.
It's okay.
That's the catchphrase.
Before the start of last season, he said Kenny Pickett's going to be better than Tua. He already lost his job.
But that's just being biased, though. Obviously, I didn't actually think that when you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But no, in all seriousness, I think I probably would have preferred a Justin Fields or drafting a quarterback, but I understand the move for Russ because you want a veteran quarterback. Like TJ Watt's not getting any younger. Cam Hayward's not getting any younger. Minkah Fitzpatrick's still young, but he's not getting any younger, right? So
and you got the two running backs, right? And like running backs' age is like they're already considered old when they get to like 27.
Exactly.
So it's like So you have Warren, you got Najee. It's like you want to try to push a little bit more now than later.
Yeah, exactly. So I like the fact that we're bringing in a veteran quarterback that's been around this league, and Kenny Pickett has 13 career touchdown passes. Russell Wilson had 26 and 8 on a so-so team with so-so receivers and a coach that didn't want him.
Yeah.
So I do have relatively high hopes because when Russ had a coach like a Mike Tomlin and Pete Carroll, he was fantastic. Like, let's not forget that. And in the division that we're in, we need a quarterback that can make plays. So as for my losers, I'm gonna do this quick. Dallas Cowboys, they didn't do a damn thing. You lose to Tony Pollard. You haven't gotten any big name free agents. You didn't go get a Derrick Henry. You didn't go get a Saquon. Like, they're definitely the losers to me. And also, this is just temporary, but the Minnesota Vikings, like, what are we doing? Sam Darnold? Are we serious? Like, you better go out and get a Justin Fields. Like, please, for the love of God. The Buffalo Bills could also be a loser. You lose so much of your defense.
Those would have been my two.
Poyer, Micah Hyde. You restructure Von Miller's deal, who had 0 sacks last season. I don't get it. Those are just a couple off the top of my head. And talk about the Atlanta Falcons getting Kirk Cousins. I'm not a fan.
I'm not like
I'm not, but I think it's a good
upgrade. Like I was at the beginning, like I would much rather them have Justin Fields because it's like a dual threat to go along with Bijan, to go along with
and he's young. He can grow with those young core players.
But I see where they're coming from into the fact is they want a QB who can get the ball into their playmakers' hands. And Kurt can do that. We saw it with Justin Jefferson. So it's like, saw with Addison. I mean, Addison popped off when he got hurt, but still. But I feel like it's going to help Kyle Pitts this season because no one was there. He wasn't getting targets with Ritter or Heineke last year. So it's like, it's going to help him. It's going to help Drake London because he's going to have a QB that's consistent. Yeah. So,
you know what I'm confused about? Tennessee didn't want to sign AJ Brown's $100 million contract, and then they go and sign Ridley to $93 million. It's just odd, but okay.
I'm not a fan of Kirk Cousins. I'm just not. I don't know how he lucks himself into these prominent positions. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
get
because
it.
he lands into teams that are in need, and he's good enough to fill those needs to get
But he's not. But like you know for a fact he's not good enough to win you a Super Bowl. Like we know this. Like I don't get it. I do not get it. Anyways, did you guys have any other winners or losers off the top of your head that
losers? I'd say that for me the two biggest losers were Dallas and Buffalo. Just losing pieces and not adding anything in. Buffalo, they were a little bit cap crunched. They had to cut so many guys just to fit into it this year. But not only did they have to cut them, some of them went to their rivals. Like Miami signed Poirier to help up our secondary that we lost X, and then we lost Elliott, who I think signed with this. Was it the Steelers? Deshaun Elliott signed with. So he signed today for 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like we got better and they got worse in that position by getting their own player. Dallas just did nothing. They lost. Is their starting running back this season going to be Deuce Vaughn? Like, what's going on there? Because they have no other running backs on the roster. They're going to sign someone? Are they going to trade up for that guy out of Michigan? Who knows? But like, just right now, they don't really have a prominent running back.
That's true. I agree. I agree with that. Moving on. Champions League. So I guess Tuesday, second leg games, Napoli and Barca against Porto and Arsenal. Arsenal advance on penalties.
That I'm surprised. Like I thought they would win, just would not take that long.
Yeah.
But then Porto played Porto soccer.
Yeah, they
just didn't you take Porto last week?
Yeah, I took a Porto draw. I was close. I also took Barca to win.
Yeah.
You did also take Barca. I went.
I'm surprised with how well those teenagers did in that Barca Napoli game.
It's a little embarrassing for Napoli.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they started a midfield with a 20-year-old in there that hasn't really played many minutes in Lopez, and then they started a center back who was 17 years old, and then I mean Yamal starts every game now, but he's 16, and he was the best player on the pitch. Like anytime Barca created anything of note, it was because of him.
Yeah,
and there's something about being a young kid and playing for Barca, and you just play the best soccer of your life.
Yeah, but it's just like for Napoli's attack to really not do anything against mainly bench players is a little bit frightening.
But you see, this is the problem with Kvaratskhelia he got locked up by Jules Koundé.
But it's not only him, because like I mean, for the majority of the first half, I don't think Osimhen knew what the offside rule was.
Yo, I was watching the game.
He got called offside, I think 3 or 4 times in the first half on like, but like it's not even like there was one of them where he didn't even get back to the defender yet, and he just went on a run. But what do you think is going to happen? You're not even back yet. Yeah. It didn't make sense to me.
No, I didn't get it. And there was an opportunity where he looked like he could have had a decent chance on net, and he just the slightest bit of contact, he's on the ground. Like, dude, like, come on, what are we doing right now? They just could not resist the onslaught within the first 20 minutes of the game, and they just never recovered. And honestly, it is a little bit embarrassing. Like I said last episode, I think I would have loved to have seen that matchup more so last season because they were both on top of their games. But I'm sorry, Napoli was embarrassing. Listen, the Italian teams in Champions League this round, in the round of 16, all 3 of you guys were absolutely embarrassing. Lazio, Napoli, and Inter, we will get to you.
Did we expect anything more from Lazio though?
Yeah, you're playing, but I didn't like.
That's fair. That's fair.
But not just that, like just the quality of team they have this season and everything. They've lost. I mean, they lost their best player last season, like coming into the season with Milinkovic-Savic. That's a big hole to try to fill in the midfield. They brought in Kamada. Kamada really hasn't done much in their system. He's been a bench player at most. I mean, and then right after the game, Sadi like this week after this weekend's game, Saudi
He
quit,
resigned.
Yeah. It's just the roller coaster of emotions for them and the drama
So,
that always seems to find them.
But honestly, going back to Barca though, like they have like moments of brilliance. Like you watch like first 20 minutes and it was just the Barca show, and then they disappear. And the issue was Napoli just could not counter on what Barca was just didn't know what was going on. Thing is, if Barca could play at least 65 minutes of a game where that first 20 minutes is, like they're actually a great team, bar even with all their injuries.
Yeah.
The issue is for some reason, every 20 minutes or so, they just don't know what's going on, and I don't know why.
It's true. No, but kudos to Barca. They advanced. Kudos to Arsenal. I thought Arsenal would flop in pens, because I feel like for an inexperienced team, like pens is oftentimes where they falter. But I mean, credit to them. They just came out and were firing that ball into the back of the net like nothing. David Raya made some big saves. So shout out to Arsenal. I didn't think they'd get it done. Or maybe I did. Can't remember. I was hoping they wouldn't get it done for coefficient purposes.
I was hoping they would lose for that plus 1600, but you know.
But we got to go to yesterday, and I'm excited to see how the next round plays out. I will say that. But
excited to see the matchups.
Dude, this is one of the most excited quarters I've seen in a long time.
Okay,
I'll be honest.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I would say it is a lot more even this year compared. Like obviously, Man City's the top dog right now, but like the rest is just a group. Like it's just a group of everyone else that can compete, right? There's no, I don't see anyone that's like overwhelmingly a favorite besides Man City going into.
I like last year's. I thought last year's was good
because it was all Italian teams in the Final Four besides Man City.
No comment. All Italian teams losing in the final too, but it's okay.
Well, before we'll save Inter Atletico for last. PSV, Dortmund. You shout out to Jadon Sancho, man. Like, leaving Man United under the circumstances that he did, the problems with Eric Ten Hag, and he comes in the 3rd minute, scores. He's looked really good.
Yep.
Since he's
been producing.
Yeah. You know, it sucks that he's just on loan because I think his career is similar to Bellingham's in terms of he should not go to England. And I think like he would be the best version of himself, not in England.
Do you guys feel like
do
you feel like he should play more like a cam than a winger?
Nah,
he has the skill set of a winger, maybe not like insane pace, but his dribble is perfect for a winger.
It's kind of similar to like Kvaratskhelia, where it's like he doesn't have that burst of pace, but his dribbling and passing skills are there, right, to be a winger.
I think they're better than Kvaratskhelia, to be honest with you.
I think Kvaratskhelia just has a little bit more physicality towards him.
Maybe.
Like, is it just a little bit more stocky?
But Jadon's the more talented player, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Seen more out of him as well.
Yeah, we saw him dominate the years when he was with Haaland and then Jude, right?
Yeah,
he'd be perfect like left forward. You know what I mean? Not too far on the wing. Plays a little bit tighter.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
And then that old man scored the second. Royce, always there.
90th plus 6 or something.
Always there.
No, Dortmund advanced to the. This is their first time in the quarters since in 3 years. Shout out to PSV. They almost got to the quarter. They haven't been to the quarters since 06-07.
Good season this year. They just still
not
quite there.
They're far away ahead in first. No one
far first, yeah. They're just they're still just.
Ajax had stumbled, and then Feyenoord had started off pretty poorly this year.
Ajax was like bottom table for like the first little bit, and I was like, "What's going on?"
It's crazy.
Yeah. Inter Atletico.
Yeah, that's
no. Hold on a second.
Do we want to say that Thuram should have ended the game before anything happened?
I'm surprised. But like out of all the players, I'm surprised.
Thuram fucked it up that badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Lautaro
You
gave
said
him a perfect pass.
Martinez.
But I like
not that surprised.
But like Lautaro played well throughout the entirety of the game. There was 2 chances in the second half where they could have iced it, where he gave a perfect pass to Thuram. Thuram cut in, had the whole net to himself, and just decided to sky it. Then maybe 5 minutes later, he did the same thing to Barella. Barella doesn't have the pace as Thuram does, so he took a shot from outside the box and put it right into the goalie's hands. But Lautaro played well. Just Pens was another story.
Yeah. Lautaro, he is Ciro Immobile. That's what he is.
If you want a better comparison, he's Higuain. Big games, he seems to know how to fuck it up. And that was
I'm still mad that Higuain started over like any of the forwards. Argentina, like Aguero didn't start, and Tevez didn't start. But you're playing Higuain.
Yeah,
what's going on?
That's listen. They're all in the same camp. Yeah. Lautaro Martinez do not show up outside of Serie A. That's it. He don't show up for Argentina. He don't show up for Champions League. That was absolutely embarrassing. You had no business losing to Atletico Madrid. And now, as a Milan fan, I don't like y'all. I wanted y'all to advance for coefficient purposes and to make Italy look good, and you did the opposite. This is why Inter got 3 Champions League titles, because every time they got a good goddamn team, they don't do shit. They do not do shit. They choke in the Champions League year in and year out, outside of 3 times and 1 time in the modern era when Jose Mourinho.
Sorry, I'm watching Leverkusen game.
Yeah, did they score? Did they tie it up?
They tied it. They still need a win, but anyways, continue.
Also, Atalanta advanced.
Yeah.
They beat Sporting CP. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Sporting CP. It's a good matchup.
I was gonna say, like, not only was it embarrassing for Inter, they scored first. They put the game 2-0 up. Like, that should have been it. And then immediately after, Griezmann had first game back. Griezmann had a fantastic game,
and he was questionable for the game.
Yeah, he's been injured for the last month or so, and played over 100 minutes, and he played very well.
And but you see, even his goal, his goal. Sorry to cut you off. Was it was kind of a wonky. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was just
it was a good finish, though.
Exactly.
But that's not something that should happen when you're up 2-0 on aggregate and 1-0 in the game. For you to choke that bad, and was it Griezmann, and then Depay came in later and to score the tying goal?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's craziness.
Exactly.
But I honestly shout out Atletico. We said this is their repertoire, and they stuck to it. Like, right, they got dominated in the first game, no doubt about it. But they were never out. It was 1-0, and that's just they brought it back to Spain, and like it shows that Atletico at home are dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inzaghi was just too defensive for my liking.
He had the worst game plan they could have done. Yeah. Like, in the first half, they kind of played a little bit more attacking, but the start of the second half, they just decided, you know what, we're just going to sit. Sit and wait.
That game plan never works. Maybe if you were 3-0 up in the first leg, but like, you can't do that for 95 minutes.
It don't even work 3-0 up in the first leg.
Unless there's Jose Mourinho.
3-0 lead in 05 and we lost. We had
a
4-1 lead against Deportivo and we lost in the second leg. Like, that shit never works, dude. Like, go and put the nail in the coffin. Stop this. Even if we go to the NHL, Barry, Dallas had a 3-0 lead against Florida. What do? Lose. Last night, Vancouver Canucks have a 3-0 lead against the Colorado Avalanche. Put the nail in the coffin, dude.
Well, even yesterday, Luton was up 3-0 to Bournemouth.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I was like, bro, I kept on my phone. It was a different score. I was like, what's going on? But my issue is, I don't understand why. I get it if you're tired in the extra time, whatever, but it doesn't make sense to take them off going into penalty shots. You don't bring in a fresh player, like unless he is a marksman for penalty shots. I get it, but you don't bring in a player late in the game in extra time because A, someone's tired. It's like, dude, you're taking a penalty shot. Who cares? And B, they don't know the goalie at all. They barely touch the ball. They're coming on for one kick, and that one kick needs to go in the back of the net. It doesn't make sense that people make these changes always late in the game for them just to take a penalty shot unless they're known for penalty shots. So I just thought their whole game plan this game was horrible. They missed their chances to win. Thuram should have won them this game, but I put a lot of it on it was just bad decisions for the game plan.
Europa League. Bayer Leverkusen's advancing. They are up 3-2.
They just scored?
Yeah, they just scored. I don't know why there's 8 minutes of extra time.
6, but I guess they went longer in.
They scored 8 minutes. They scored their third goal 8 minutes into extra time, like 90 plus 8, whatever.
Maybe because of the red card, there was actually like more. I don't know.
I need to see the red card with my own 2 eyes, see if I think it's bull jive, because I'm not gonna lie.
Bust.
The Europa League red card so far, Milan, we won, and we can get to that. Slavia Praha, we had no business. That was not a red card on David Calabria. Like, I'll take it, but that was not a red card.
It's high studs, that's why.
It was so in the moment. Like, I did not feel comfortable with them getting a red card.
They haven't played. They didn't play them 11 on 11 yet
at all. Like they did not even play a full.
No, they don't even have 90 minutes against 11 players.
No, not even 60 minutes against 11 players. Like we were very fortunate. Liverpool, obviously.
Dude, I was surprised they dogged them like that today. I thought they would have. I didn't, but they were already up 5. Was it 5-1 on aggregate? Like, I thought they would play the bench players and like see what happens. I look at the score 5 minutes in. Salah, Nunez, and who else had a goal 10 minutes into the game?
Cody Gakpo.
Yeah, like it was just right away. They decided, you know what? Let's just end this quick, which Italian teams don't seem to do. So.
No, Liverpool. Listen, they're obviously the clear favorite for Europa League.
Yeah.
Roma advances on 4-1 on aggregate over Brighton.
Yeah, we weren't trying to play today. We just decided
we had played Inter's game plan, but you guys were 4
but we had the 4. Yeah, we had a 4 goal.
That was the difference.
It was like, but it was not only that we just didn't. It's not like we just defended it. I don't think we just didn't try to score today. Like it was a complete bench today, and then we don't have as deep of a bench as most teams do, so we kind of need to rest guys to go into the later parts of the season.
Yep.
Yeah. Atalanta advance, beating Sporting 2-1 thanks to a goal by Scamacca. So 3 Italian teams make it through. I believe all English teams made it through. West Ham, Aston Villa.
No. Brighton
lost to us.
Of course, sorry, Brighton.
Yeah.
West Ham 5-0 today.
Yeah, Aston Villa 4-0 over Ajax. And like we mentioned, Liverpool, Benfica, Marseille advance
on aggregate,
and Bayer Leverkusen advance. Somehow, many feel are the second favorite. For
I don't
Europa
see that
League.
anymore.
I don't either, because making it come down this close to the team that you played against doesn't spell well, in my opinion.
But then you also look at the league, and they're 10 points ahead of Bayern, right? So it's like.
Yeah.
And
but even Bayern are a shell of themselves, right?
Yeah. I understand why they're the second favorites. They're having an insane season. I'm just saying within Europe, they're not doing it for me.
No, I agree. But the draw will be tomorrow. I'm excited about that.
Who do you want to draw if you had your pick of the litter?
I want anyone but Liverpool. Seriously, if for me as a Milan fan, I'm comfortable with anyone but Liverpool. I don't, and it's not because I don't want to play Liverpool. It's because I think that should be a Europa League final matchup. Like, I don't want to see that matchup if it's not in the final, because to me, those are the 2 best teams left in Europa League, in my opinion. And maybe bias is a part of that, of course.
Benfica's there.
But I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable against Bayern.
They're not having a great season this year.
No,
Benfica. I think they're second or third in the league right now. So it's like
they're always in Europe.
They're still they're always in Europe.
It's like
sure,
Porto. They lost the penalties to Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I don't want to see an Italian team yet. I would say because I think we can start playing each other this round, and I don't want to see Atalanta or Milan yet. Like I'd say more like that'd be like a good semifinal matchup to have like
But I find this is the round you want a hard team because you don't like. Look, every team is hard when you hit the semis.
Yeah.
But like you kind of like if there's a round you want to go up against a heavy hitter, I would take the quarters. Because if you make it through, like, you know what I mean? It's worse to play them in the semis because you already know the next round is the finals. So if you could at least dampen the blow of the whole conference in the quarters, I think you have it gives you a better chance.
I'd say I would want that right now for Liverpool, just because of the injuries they have. Like I'd rather face them now when they don't have Alisson, they don't have Konate, they don't have some of their key guys,
Trent.
Instead of when the final happens, they're all going to be back. They're gonna have the entire starting 11 back, and most of these teams in the Europa League can't compete with that, with the roster they have.
As a Milan fan, in the ideal world, Bayern and Liverpool would draw each other next round. That would be chef's kiss.
I
doubt it.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like one of the Italian teams is going to get Liverpool. It might be Atalanta get Liverpool, and they will get run out the building. Like it's I just have a bad feeling that an Italian team is going to draw Liverpool in the next round. I just feel it. So Champions League, I'm not really I feel like I feel like no matter how it plays out, it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think the least interesting matchup for me would probably be
I don't think I want to see Man City Bayern this round.
I don't want to see Dortmund Atletico. I feel like
that's gonna be a boring leg.
Yeah,
it's
not that they're bad teams. It's just that matchup.
The style of play is just
you know. Yeah.
But I think Dortmund right now is a team. If you have a team,
if you want to draw someone,
if you want to draw, I think Dortmund's the team you want to draw.
I want to see Arsenal Man City. To be honest with you, I want to see Arsenal.
I actually don't want to like. I personally don't want that. I don't.
You sound nervous, bro.
Okay, let's relax. I for sure want a Madrid rematch.
Y'all don't want no smoke with Madrid right now.
But I think that like you need 2 years ago, it was Madrid in the semis. Last year again, it was Madrid. So I feel like that we need a third.
Man, the streets wanted a Milan Madrid final last year.
I don't want to play PSG. I don't care for PSG. Do I want to play PSG? Yes, because they're weaker. But look, they always have Mbappe. You're never gonna say you can never knock them out until you have Mbappe.
Actually, that's what I want. I want PSG.
That'd actually be a good one.
But I think PSG Dortmund would be a good draw.
What?
I think
they played each other 2 times in the group stage. I don't want to see that.
It's true. Okay. Yeah. Wait, did they?
Yeah. We were in the group of death with them. And you know what? Listen, I'm a Milan fan.
True.
I'm sorry I'm talking about so much about Milan. But seeing some of these bum-ass teams in this chat, we should have beaten Dortmund. I know we did it, but we should have beat Dortmund. We should be here right now, and it's so infuriating that we're not.
But you couldn't do it.
I'm just venting my frustrations. I apologize. No disrespect.
About a Barca Arsenal.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
I want to see
a
Barca Man City, Xavi against Pep. I want to see that. That would be good. Or Barca Real. Ooh,
no.
I mean, we haven't had an El Clasico in the Champions League in a long time.
Yeah,
so true. That'd be cool. I mean, El Clasico is not the same as it used to be. They don't have. There's not the stars anymore to be have a showdown. It's not Messi versus Ronaldo anymore. It's what? Jude versus Yamal.
Yamal.
Yeah, it's
but the thing with Champions League is you get to see matchups that don't happen. It's look, El Clasico is always going to be amazing to watch, but when are you going to watch Man City play Real Madrid? Only in the Champions League. You see what I'm saying? I want cross league matchups.
Yeah. I'd like to see Bayern maybe in Arsenal. Last time they played each other, it was 10-2, or 8-2, something along those lines.
Yeah, I think 8-2.
I would love to see that as well.
Champions League quarterfinal and Europa League quarterfinal and conference league. Draw happened earlier this morning, and we got to talk about it. We absolutely have to talk about it. So let's start off Champions League quarterfinal. Now let's talk about the matchup that we said would probably be the most boring one.
It happened.
And it actually happened. Atletico Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. It's still going to be a great matchup.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. But out of all the possible matchups, it was definitely the most boring option.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one team's just going to try to counterattack the other time, and the other team just doesn't have the quality of the players compared to everyone else, right?
Exactly.
Great for Atletico,
You guys
honestly.
Yeah.
Are you leaning towards Atletico? I'm leaning towards Atletico.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's. I think the first leg is the most important, just because Atletico's away in the second.
Yeah, I say we do a little unmatched pot. You know what I mean? Get a little something going on. See who predicts the most. Not each leg, obviously, but see who picks the winner.
Just who goes through.
I think we should look into that. But anyways,
Right.
I'm going towards Atletico for sure.
Yeah.
Dortmund's obviously a quality side. We know this. They've been in the competition, but there's just something about Diego Simeone and these competitions. Like Antoine Griezmann has found his form. Memphis Depay, who I'm not the biggest fan of, is getting it done. He had the huge equalizing goal against Inter. Listen, I'm going with Atletico. It'll obviously be close, though. I don't think it'll be a blowout match stretch. Maybe 3-1, 3-2, maybe something along those lines.
I think you just have to lean to Atletico. They knocked out one of the favorites, right? So
yeah,
I feel like that should put them near the top of the list now if you beat Inter.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Like Dortmund beat PSV, who aren't the strongest, but they looked convincing in at least in the second game.
Leg.
Yeah. So
exactly.
It's gonna be a good matchup. I mean, Atletico never completely dominates a competition, right? They're never gonna win a game 4-0 or something like that.
No,
everything's gonna be 1-0, 2-0 games, but I feel like that's all they need.
It's not their style to win like that.
I think it's gonna be the closest competition of the group.
You think?
Yeah. I think it's actually gonna be the closest, and it's just because of the format.
So it sounds to me like you think Man City's gonna blow the Real Madrid.
Absolutely. And I called it too. I said we're getting Real for a third.
Okay. We're saving that for last. I'm sorry. PSG versus Barcelona.
Solid.
Interesting matchup.
Yeah.
There's the potential to have an El Clasico matchup in the Champions League final. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely though. Listen, I'm gonna go with PSG. I think just the youthfulness. It's a great thing to see, of course, but Barca just has too much youth. Without a guy like Pedri, Frankie de Jong, these guys could miss the first leg at least against PSG. And when you're missing quality like that listen, we all understand this PSG team is not as good as they've been in recent years, but they still have Kylian Mbappe. That youth against Kylian Mbappe would scare me if I'm a Barcelona fan.
I'm sticking with. I think I'm going to take Barca this one. And I think the player who's gonna do it is Koundé, because I feel like he's gonna not stop Mbappe, but he's gonna mitigate Mbappe. And I think he is the player that needs to have any player to show up. He's the one that needs to come, and I think he has the right assets to be that player that can mitigate Mbappe.
Okay.
Over Araujo, I feel like Araujo would be more dominant in that matchup.
It's where you're playing. If Mbappe's playing on the left, right, and which I think
with the right back,
and that's where he plays best. And I think PSG should be playing him there. Other topic.
What about Dembele? Who's guarding Dembele?
They don't really need to. He hasn't done much this season.
Yeah,
he
can spark. He is a spark, and
yes, exactly.
he is a threat, but
he's not on form though, right? Like
Yeah.
to say like you should be worried about him from current form isn't doing like I don't know. The PSG has like for what they lack, they do have a lot of attacking options, right? You have Dembele, you have Kolo Muani, you have Goncalo Ramos, you have Mbappe. Like they have attacking options. It's whether like they're going to be playing well
It's
at
if
the
the rest
moment.
of the team
Yeah.
also keeps up, and I think Barcelona is going to capitalize on that. And I think
I just
Mbappe
have
is going to be mitigated in this series.
I just have a funny feeling that Mbappe is just gonna put this team on his back. And I'm not gonna say it will be one. Like it may be a one-man show. Obviously, for PSG, they would prefer it not to be. But I just think he's gonna put this team on his back. And listen, they're in the easier side of the bracket, so it's very possible that he could will them to a Champions League final.
That's true. Yeah. That is true.
And he has the quality to do it, right? So
exactly. Yes, he's the best player in the world. I think we would all agree on that.
Yeah.
The other side of the bracket, however,
God
Arsenal, and shout out to our guy Alex Mangano, who does tune in to Unmatched. We all know he's a gigantic Arsenal fan, and he had some words for when we did our Inter and Arsenal discussion. Unfortunately, neither of those teams will be playing each other in the Champions League. But
been good for the stories.
Yes, absolutely. But Arsenal have an opportunity to avenge that 10-2 loss on aggregate.
You did call it yesterday.
Hey,
yes, we did.
We were pretty on spot with everything.
Yes, that is fair. No one said Atletico PSG. No one said.
We said we didn't want to see it though. At least we brought it up.
Yeah, we jinxed it.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, this is tough, man. And I find it funny. Harry Kane has to see Arsenal.
Yeah.
Tottenham legend Harry Kane got to see Arsenal in the quarterfinals as he tries to advance and win a trophy for the first time in his career. A real trophy.
Yeah, a real trophy. Yeah. I don't know, like Bayern Munich have all the players to be the favorites in this league. But on current form and how they're playing, I'm not surprised if Arsenal can pull away. Like if they can get some individual brilliance from some of their players, I can see them winning. On paper, Bayern should win this. They got the most informed striker in the world right now. They got the pieces around it. I mean, who else is more informed than Harry Kane right now?
No, I was just thinking.
Oh,
yeah, no, you're right. I agree.
Yeah, he is.
So it's like,
I mean, Ronaldo's doing pretty well.
That's in your opinion.
It's, I mean, he didn't. If you want to talk about it, he missed the tap in last week. We all saw that.
But he made up for it by scoring a pen, though.
Listen, this isn't the Ronaldo show. There's way more important things.
Oh my God. But no, I agree. I agree with you, Barry. I'm going with Bayern.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal. It'll definitely be close, but like Leroy Sané, Jamal Musiala, Harry Kane on the backline, De Ligt. You got Upamecano, who has struggled.
Kim Min-jae.
He's been struggling.
Kim Min-jae. But the fact that they still have a guy like him as their backup center back, like Goretzka, Mueller, Kimmich, like.
I think Bayern should come through, and yes, like Barry said, on paper, I think Arsenal is the best chance for Arsenal to win is this year in this matchup, because their form this year and last year just leading up to it, they've had 2 years with majority of the squad, so they're ready to play together in competitions like this. But I think the lack of experience in competitions like this is going to happen, and we saw that with Porto, and I think that's going to translate to this one. And not on form Bayern is still a favorite in a majority of the series, just because
of the quality of players.
The quality of players. Even if you're off form, they just need to show up for 2 games at most, and this is nothing new to them. And their core players remain the same for years now, right?
Yeah.
So I think Arsenal's losing on lack of experience, but I'm not saying magic can't happen with them.
Yeah, agreed.
That's fair. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yes, sir.
Real Madrid against Manchester City. Manchester City embarrassed Real Madrid in the second leg of last year's Champions League semifinals. Them and Inter deprived us of a real heritage Champions League final, which I will never forget. But listen, this is I think it's going to be probably the closest matchup in the quarterfinals. I have Real Madrid winning. I have Real Madrid getting revenge. I said it. You heard me. You heard it here first. Real Madrid will get revenge against Manchester City. Book it. You heard it here first. Jude Bellingham? Stop it. Stop it.
City's second leg at home. I don't see.
You know, they've never
at all that game. I think it's gonna be a close first leg, but I think we sweep it with the second at home.
Just a quick point going to your second leg. Real Madrid have never beaten Man City at the Etihad. 5 games, 2 losses, 3 draws. Sorry, one of those.
I saw it this morning. I forget the exact numbers, but yeah.
But they've never won at the Etihad, so that first leg is going to be crucial. They have to get to at least a 2-goal advantage, 100%.
If they don't, well, look, I don't think they will, and I also have City coming out of it, bias and non-bias. But if that doesn't happen, I think it's like a 5% chance they could take it at the Etihad.
For me, it's just I don't like Madrid are serious contenders this year, but they don't have a striker that causes fear. Like Man City has Haaland, Bayern has Harry Kane. Real Madrid's only striker is Joselu, who's 33 years old and played in the championship 4 years ago. Like it's not like
Dortmund at some point.
Joselu, no, he was at. I know he was at some English team at some point.
Anyways.
Like no, yeah, but whatever it is, like they're gonna be playing. I mean, their best way to win this game is playing Jude as the center forward instead of what they did last game, where they played him and Vinny as double strikers. I feel like if they play him behind Vinny and Rodrigo, it's their best opportunity to create attacking situations. Depends what Ancelotti brings out for the leg 1 and 2, but I would slightly favor Man City in this draw just purely for the attacking abilities of the team.
Yeah. You can't play Jude any lower than that because they have to play counter soccer, which they normally do in this sense. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm with City. I kind of hope it's not another Madrid surviving soccer, like I said before. And I feel like that's just been their play style for a while, even though they don't have to anymore. But we'll see.
Nate for City. Oh no. Can you guys hear me?
Now we can. You're back.
Okay. What was the last thing you heard me say?
Nothing.
Yeah, we haven't heard you for a while.
Okay. Militao is coming back. Like we mentioned before, we spoke about Courtois. I don't feel comfortable starting him in this type of.
Only time will tell with him.
Yeah, only time will tell. But Lunen's been spectacular. Like I don't think it's a need to rush back Courtois for this. I think a key point will be the midfield, right? In that second leg last year, like they got dominated, thoroughly.
Yeah.
So I think Ancelotti, listen, like he's gonna learn from his mistakes. He's not a foolish manager. You don't win 4 Champions League titles by being a foolish manager. I think he knows what he has to do. I personally would have Modric and Kroos coming off the bench for this, just to provide that spark, that creative playmaking, that one pass that you might need to free up. And I know you brought up strikers.
Yeah.
Barry, I get that. But like, does Arsenal have a striker? No, not really. But they can still get the job done, right? Like they're still favorites. I know it's a league.
That's why they're winning 1-0, right?
Yeah, for sure. But look, Man City had a striker last season against Inter in the Champions League final, and he didn't do a damn thing.
It happens,
Right?
but I'm just saying.
It gives the defenders something to like focus in on where the other players can excel, right? Because Inter had to lock in on Haaland to make sure he wasn't a threat the entire game.
Okay.
The rest of the guys can do something else, right? So without that threat, you can focus in on a Vinny, on a Jude, because they don't have that real target man striker that that you kind of need.
So let me take it back to the 2021 Champions League winners with a striker that you're not a big fan of, Olivier Giroud. Right? He was the leading striker for Chelsea, and what happened? They beat Man City in the final. All that to say,
yeah, I think he's a good striker, but I know you don't. But what's kind of, I guess, your opinion on that, right? Because like I said, I know you don't think he's that great of a striker, but he's still Chelsea was able to get the job done with him at striker.
Tragic.
Yeah, I feel like
and I would argue that Chelsea side didn't have the same quality that this Real Madrid. Obviously, Conte was like unbelievable. We know that, but overall, starting 11, you're for the most part taking a lot of.
Champions League was Tuchel, no? That won the Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Chelsea.
Yeah, no, but you said Conte. It was Tuchel.
No, I said Conte.
Oh,
Conte. Okay. Sorry, I heard Conte.
Yeah,
as
I also
heard
like... Conte.
No. I meant sorry, Conte.
Yeah. Also, but that's a little bit different of a matchup because those teams see each other twice a year, right? Like it's a little different because they're a little bit more familiar than playing in different countries. They don't get to see each other all the time. So at least like Chelsea knew, especially how they played defensively and all that. They knew how to counter Man City's attack, which kind of helped.
But I agree with Luke. I think Giroud is also a decent striker, enough to alleviate pressure. Like he's not going to do much, but the issue is he's still a target man that can finish in front of the goal, and you can never like not keep an eye on that, right?
But I think what's dangerous about Real Madrid is that it's by committee, right? They're getting the job done by committee. Whether it's Joselu, whether it's a Brahim Diaz, whether it's a Bellingham, like I think that in and of itself is a threat. Is that you don't know where it's gonna come from. You know what I mean? Like we go back to the Champions League final of last season. It was Rodri that scored the winning goal. You know what I mean? Like and he's not a goal scorer. It wasn't no Phil Foden. It wasn't no Jack Grealish. It wasn't no Bernardo Silva or Gundogan. Like and let's not forget, like I know Man City's Man City, but Gundogan, like he was absolutely sensational in the last third of the season for Manchester City last year.
We also had an injured De Bruyne in the final, and also Phil Foden.
But De Bruyne's always injured in the final, though.
Doesn't matter.
Like let's keep it above.
He actually has a groin injury right now, I'm pretty sure.
Again?
Exactly.
Same injury as always.
No, it's slightly different. But anyways, we're gonna have to get to Europa and very quickly conference, but that's a quick one.
Sure.
This Europa. Honestly, this is the most excited. Like I've been excited for all competitions this year.
Yeah, it's been some good, high-scoring, good matchups so far this season.
I mean, we could start off with Benfica, Marseille, because for us it would be the least interesting matchup.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I don't know who would come out of that. Like, I don't know enough about either teams and both of them on current forms to say like an accurate like estimation on who would win this matchup.
Listen, Marseille did put 5 past Villarreal, if I recall, which is impressive.
But they also lost 3-1 in second leg, so like they won off decently close aggregate. So it was like just blow out both sides.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna go with Benfica. Like I don't think like Benfica went to the quarterfinals last year against Inter, and they obviously did lose, unfortunately. But that Inter side was fantastic, right? Like I understand that you can drop off a lot in a season, but how far can you drop off to where you can't beat a team like Marseille? And no disrespect to Marseille, but you can't beat a team like Marseille in the Europa League quarterfinals. Like they're not that far removed from the quarterfinals of the Champions League, where they were favored to beat Inter.
But to be fair, they did lose their best player. Giancarlo Ramos did go to PSG, right? So it's like how much?
Of course, but they
and it seems like an every year thing where they lose their best striker.
Well, yeah, but
like the Darwin Núñez the year before, and then
but they're used to that. Those teams like that are used to that, right? Like, and you bring in a veteran like Angel Di Maria. You know what I mean? Like this guy's been there and done that.
Yeah.
So listen, I'll go with Benfica, but like I agree with you guys. I don't know either. I don't know enough about either league to really give a full breakdown of why I think Benfica is gonna be better. It's more of a heritage reason.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Same.
The other Bayer Leverkusen versus West Ham.
I think that's closer than a lot of people think.
I mean, given how Bayer looked,
they didn't look good over either of the two legs, right? Like,
no, they did not. They got lucky that there was a red card called, right? Because if it wasn't, we might be having a different conversation.
Yeah, I don't think they make it through.
Yeah, they caught them tired, right? Eventually, playing with 10 men for 30 minutes, it's going to get a little bit tough.
Yeah, and Bayer, listen, and West Ham is they're a pretty decent team. You know what I mean? Like they are the winners of the Conference League last year against Fiorentina in the final. Obviously they lost Declan Rice, which is a huge loss.
Yeah.
But they still got Kudus.
Kudus has been killing it this season.
Right? Like they'll have their hands
great.
Bowen,
Exactly. So I don't think by any stretch that Bayer is gonna run amok on West Ham.
But then sorry, go.
I think this is also a good matchup for West Ham because West Ham don't like playing with the ball. If you watch all their games, they don't play possession soccer, and Bayer Leverkusen, like they don't mind Bayer Leverkusen having the possession, and Bayer Leverkusen has shown. Yeah, like West Ham don't play possession soccer. They never have, and I don't think they will for a long time. Any game you watch, they're always like 40% or lower in terms of possession. Yeah. Is it because some of their teams are better? Sure, but like just even when they play lower half teams, it's closer to 50-50. Yeah. They're never a possession team. And Leverkusen, I find, is.
Yeah.
And West Ham's not going to care because they won't have to change their game plan for anything, right? And the fact that the team... I don't remember. It was like SC something. The fact that they were able to have not Freiburg. Sorry, the team that played Leverkusen. I don't remember. Yeah, the fact that they were 10 men and still scored is the fact that they're successful to counters. So I'm gonna go with the shocker and say West Ham is actually gonna take it. And I think that because Leverkusen is majorly haven't been doing well in Europe, and B, are majorly focused on keeping the perfect record and winning the Bundesliga for the first year in 11 years, I think. I think that is their primary focus right now, because at the end of the day, that means they make Champions League. I'm not saying they don't care about Europa, but
yeah, because regardless, Bayer is gonna get a good they're going to get a good pot. Well, actually, no. I don't even know how it's going to work. I don't think pot matters anymore.
No.
So, listen, I think Bayer is going to win, but I do think it will be close. But I do feel, though, that maybe the pressure of staying perfect is starting to kind of mount on their shoulders a little bit. So we'll see how it turns out, but it'll be a great game regardless.
I don't know if like the West Ham just trying to be a counterattacking team for this matchup is going to be a good thing. Because, right now, Leverkusen's best players are their fullbacks. They've been playing outstanding this season. Grimaldo and Frimpong have been dominating both the league and Europe, right?
Very attacking, though. But that's what I'm saying. Like, scary. That's like a double-edged sword for them.
Yeah, but it's just the thing, like, if West Ham's just going to sit back and let them press, and if you have these two guys that keep running down the wings and trying to throw things into the box to Victor Bonifasi, whatever, I think that's his name.
I think so.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, something's gonna happen. And then in the midfield, they still got Florian Wirtz, right? Who's
Yeah.
been outstanding since he's broken into that first team a couple of years ago. So it's like
he's gonna go somewhere.
And it's not gonna be cheap. So it's
100 million.
Yeah. So it's like if you're gonna just sit back and let them attack you, I feel like that might play into their hands a little bit. So
Yeah.
I would still stick with Bayer Leverkusen to come out of this matchup, but I don't think it'll be like an easy one.
So, Liverpool, Atalanta. Didn't I tell you guys yesterday that I just have a bad feeling that one of the Italian teams is going to draw Liverpool?
Yeah.
And what happened? Atalanta drew Liverpool. Listen, they might get slapped. They might not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I have no clue. I don't know what to expect. I do expect Liverpool to win, though. I should say that.
I don't think it's going to be as it's not going to be an absolute blowout, but I also don't think it's going to be a tight.
But I do think that this is Atlanta's best time to beat them because I don't think they'll be at their fullest. I don't think everyone's going to be healthy.
Yeah, they may still be without Trent and Allison, but Scalvini hasn't been great as of late. And if Scalvini's not on his game, and you have to go up against Nunez and Diaz and Mo Salah and Cody Gakpo and these guys, they're gonna have a long day.
But I don't know. It depends, because Gasparini's system, he's a very good coach, and how he just seems to keep recycling, selling and buying guys that kind of just fit into his system. Like this year with Koop Miners and Marinchuk have been stepping up a lot. You have De Catalar, who's been killing it this season in his burst out season in Italy. You have Scamacca struggled a little bit with fitness and just form, but if they can get him, if they can get him going, they can be dangerous attacking. And just like you said, if Scalvini's on his game, he's 19 years old, he's young, he's inexperienced, but he's going to be a top center back. And then behind them, you got Karnasecki, who's an up and coming goal. They have the pieces to throw out an upset. It's just that the fact is that Liverpool do have all that star power. But I do if Trent, Konate, Allison, if Van Dijk's still a little bit banged up, they could be subset. They could concede a little bit if they're a little bit light on in the back.
It's a could factor. I still don't think it's enough. This is a Champions League team that just had a bad season last year, right?
Yeah.
This is a team that should be in Champions
But again,
League.
last year was because of injuries, right? So it just seems to be a thing where this team can't stay healthy.
More depth, I find now, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then the matchup.
AC Milan, which I listen, it has to happen. We have to go see one of these legs. We have to. We have to. AC Milan versus AS Roma. I'm a little bit sad because I would have liked to have seen more Italian teams advance.
Yeah,
but
I would like to see this later. I would have been okay with this if the semifinals were
had group like Marseille or something.
Yeah, all of us get a chance in the semifinal. I wouldn't mind a Milan Roma matchup if it was a semifinal and then Atalanta was on the other end, right? So it gave us more of a chance with that extra Champions League spot for next season, but it's gonna be a good matchup.
Yeah, I may be wrong, but I do believe that if Italy got points for having the two teams match up against each other.
Okay.
So from what I've seen online, I think Italy has about 17.3 or 4 in the coefficient, and then Germany's the next closest with about 16, I would say 0.4 or 3, and then England is not far off from Germany at all. And England's making a late push. They haven't been fantastic because of teams like Newcastle and Manchester United not even qualifying for Europe after getting bounced out on the group stage, but they've made a comeback.
So what you're saying is we want Atalanta to win and we want Bayer Leverkusen to win. That's all you're saying?
Yeah, what you would want, the only teams that you would want advancing are from England are Manchester City, really, and Liverpool. That's it. If more teams start to get past, and it can become a little bit spicy for Italy, just because who knows? We might have to bank on Fiorentina.
That's not something I want to bank on.
Great, exactly. But
anyways,
that being said, I'm rocking with Milan. Milan, we handling Roma. Like, we've been handled you guys.
Yeah,
in
but it's
2 games this season already. Oh, it's Jose Mourinho. Who cares? The same players.
No.
Y'all got
what I'm gonna
you
say
guys
is, like,
got no answer for Rafa Leao. Christian Pulisic is on a tear. Okay, Oli Giroud, Ruben Loftus-Cheek is on a tear. Like, y'all got no answers for us. I'm sorry.
I will say is we always play you guys close, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's always I mean, how many times last season we thought we scored a winner in the 98th minute and you somehow tied the game in the 96th, right? Like, these games have always been close, even though you've won the majority of them as of late.
Well, you guys haven't beaten us in about 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. And if we don't win, we draw, and we've had a lot of draws in the last couple of years, but it's just like, the way we're playing now, I feel like we would have a better chance against you guys if Mourinho was still in, because with Mourinho still here, we would have let you guys attack us more, and we just can't defend for our lives against Leao for 90 minutes in 2 legs. It's not going to work out. He's pieced us up every time he's done it, right? Like, he finds a way to create something that we can't defend. And I feel like now that we're pushing an attack more, I feel like your guys, especially with Tomori missing the first leg due to suspension, I feel like that's where we can capitalize, especially if Dybala is fit. Lukaku's Lukaku. If he shows up in the game, he shows up in the game. Majority of this matchup is going to be Dybala and Pellegrini, and if they show up and they're fit, right? Those are our 2 big guys. Those are the guys that can change a game compared to anyone else. Like, Lukaku can score goals, but like the guys that the guys that create things are Dybala and Pellegrini. Those are our guys.
I know I'm being tongue in cheek and I'm saying we're gonna mouth the towards you guys. Listen, I do believe that in all seriousness that it will be a close a close 2 legs. I think it could be a 3-2, for Milan. Like, I don't think it's gonna be, I'd be shocked if we wipe the floor with you by any stretch.
Yeah.
But honestly, for me, this is the most intriguing of the matchups in the Europa League.
Especially that we play you guys 2 times every season, right? So if out of all these matchups, we're the most familiar with each other.
I think Milan are favorites, but I think Roma's run of form is something in consideration, like a bigger consideration than I think a lot of people realize. Roma is going to come down to health, especially for Dybala, and that's always the case, and I hate it because he is a great player, but he has glass knees, and I hope for him that he could come through for any competition or any games in general, just for his career. Oh, it's tough. I actually don't know. I
really wish Tammy was back for this game. But
yeah, you need Tammy.
But
then Milan is also, they're bruised up, especially in the back.
On the defense, that's their biggest struggle right now.
Oh, we're starting to get healthy now, right? By the time the first leg happens, it'll be, I believe, April 11th.
Look, I'll play it safe. I think as we're talking right now, I am leaning towards Roma. But if Milan get Tomori back,
no, he's back. Tomori's back. He's just suspended.
Yeah. But I'm saying if they get a defense back, because Theo Hernandez in center back for a few games has been horrible for their team. If that's back, then I don't think Roma has the quality up front, missing a go-to striker.
First of all, when Theo did play center back, he was solid number 1.
No, I'm not saying he was bad. I'm just saying it was a detriment to the team because not having Theo on the left back is like 10% of your attack right there. Like, you know what I mean? Balls go through him.
Yeah.
But that's how I stand.
Kalulu is coming back.
Yeah.
Like I said, Tomori, like Kalulu and Tomori and Xiao, by the time April 11th rolls around, like, they'll be somewhat in better form, right?
If they're back and somewhat in form, not like straight from injury, then I don't think.
But we say that, but we all know Pioli doesn't like Kalulu. To say that he's going to be back and starting is also questionable.
Kalulu better be at right back. They better be at right back. Or I know he'll never run a 3 center back formation. I would love to see it though.
You should though, with the guys you got when healthy.
3-5-2.
Yeah, you should be running Tomori, Thiaw, and Kalulu as the 3 center backs. Like that should be your system.
Don't give me hope. Anyways, we're not gonna dwell on this too much. We will talk about it ad nauseum when it happens. But ladies and gentlemen, this is
wait.
official.
Hold on, we got a rapid fire conference. We can't do them like that bad. I know we clown on it. I'm gonna rapid fire. Fiorentina has the easiest matchup. That's good for them. They take it. Victoria Pleasant.
Okay, yeah.
Forgive me if I butchered it.
Yeah.
Olympiacos, Fenerbahce. It's a good matchup. I give it to Olympiacos for certain reasons.
It's definitely not.
But no, like
would win that.
if you watch, they were actually down like 5-1 aggregate. They came back and won. Insane. Anyways, Club Bruges, PAOK.
Yeah, just go.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. These
Austin Villa, Lils, I give it to Austin Villa because Lil screwed up my parlay, and also I find Lil like if you're like, look, they won the first leg, so they were not playing to win. But I think Austin Villa is a solid team. Like they could be in Europa this year. So those are the 4 I go in rapid fire.
That's fair. I have no comments about any of those picks at all.
I think
it'll probably be an Aston Villa. No, Aston Villa, you're nuts. Aston Villa is insane. But Ollie Watkins did get injured yesterday, so that would be a big
That's
factor.
A huge loss.
Yeah. Oh, Kenny Pickett to the Philadelphia Eagles. Ah, thank God.
Damn.
Wow.
Like he really cared, huh?
No disrespect to Kenny Pickett, but it just wasn't working. So
that means you guys are going to draft a QB this year, no?
JJ McCarthy. Okay.
Because you guys don't even have Rudolph left too for the Titans or something. No, where'd he go? Mason, he signed somewhere.
Listen, there's Michael Penix available. There's JJ McCarthy. There's so many good quarterbacks that have more potential than Kenny Pickett. I'm all for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is episode 6 of Unmatched. Subscribe, like, comment, hate on us if you want, disagree. I don't care, as long as there's interactions, as long as there's communication, because this is sports, man. Like, we love this shit. This is what we live for. We love debating. We love going back and forth. Who's better than this player? Whose team is better? It's all fun and love and games. So like, comment, and subscribe.